Commander Alex Rivera stared at the blue and green planet spinning slowly on the main screen. Earth looked peaceful from space, with white clouds moving across its surface like cotton balls floating in a clear sky. He had seen hundreds of worlds during his career with the Galactic Council, but something about this one felt different. "Initial scans are complete, Commander," said Dr. Maya Thompson from her station. The human woman had joined the survey team only 6 months ago, but her knowledge of biology had already proven valuable on 3 different worlds. All signs point to a healthy, thriving planet with diverse life forms. Alex nodded and turned to his other team members. Zexathara, the crystalline being from the Kepler system, was studying geological readings with intense focus. Her species looked like walking diamonds, with light bending and reflecting through their transparent bodies. Next to her, Vrintok, from the Centauri colonies, was analyzing atmospheric data. His blue skin seemed to shimmer as he worked, a sign that he was concentrating hard. "Standard procedure," Alex announced to the bridge crew. "We document everything before making first contact. I want complete geological, atmospheric, and biological surveys. The Council needs to know exactly what kind of world we're dealing with." The survey ship Horizon's Edge had been exploring this section of the galaxy for 2 years. Their mission was simple: find new worlds with intelligent life and determine if they were ready to join the galactic community. Earth was their 15th planet to study, and Alex expected it to be like all the others. 3 hours later, Zexathara's voice cut through the quiet hum of the bridge. "Commander, I need you to look at these readings." Alex walked over to her station. The geological scanner showed layers of rock and sediment that told the story of Earth's past. Every planet had these records, like pages in a history book written in stone and soil. "What am I looking at?" Alex asked. Zexathara's crystalline form seemed to pulse with confusion. "That's the problem, Commander. I'm not seeing what should be here." "Explain." "Every world I've ever studied shows the same pattern. Massive earthquakes that split continents, volcanic eruptions that cover half the planet in ash, meteor impacts that wipe out most life forms. These events happen on every world, Commander. They're part of how planets develop." Alex frowned. "And Earth doesn't show these patterns?" "Earth shows small earthquakes and minor volcanic activity. Nothing that would threaten the entire planet. It's impossible." Vrintok looked up from his station. "I'm seeing the same thing with the atmosphere. This planet should have experienced superstorms that would make our worst weather look like a gentle breeze. The atmospheric pressure patterns suggest they should be happening, but there's no evidence they ever did." Dr. Thompson joined the conversation. "I've been studying the biological records. On every other world we've surveyed, there are clear signs of mass extinction events, times when almost all life died and had to start over. Earth has had some extinctions, but nothing like what we see elsewhere." Alex felt a cold sensation in his stomach. In 20 years of planetary surveys, he had never encountered anything like this. Every world followed the same basic pattern. Life developed, disasters nearly destroyed it, life recovered and grew stronger. It was the way of the universe. "Run the scans again," he ordered. "All of them. Double-check everything." The team worked for another 4 hours. They used every scanner, every sensor, every piece of technology they had. The results were the same. Earth was somehow different from every other planet they had ever studied. "Commander," Maya said quietly, "I think we need to contact the human delegation." Alex had been dreading this moment. Captain Lisa Morgan commanded the small human fleet that had made first contact with the Council 3 months ago. Her people were still learning about the galaxy, still discovering that they weren't alone in the universe. How could he explain that their planet was impossible? The communication screen flickered to life, showing Captain Morgan's face. She was a middle-aged woman with graying hair and tired eyes that had seen too much responsibility. "Commander Rivera," she said with a slight smile. "How are the surveys going?" "Captain Morgan, we need to talk. We've discovered something unusual about your planet." Lisa's expression became serious. "What kind of unusual?" Alex chose his words carefully. "Your planet doesn't show the geological and atmospheric patterns we see on other worlds. Earth appears to be missing certain types of natural disasters that are common throughout the galaxy. I'm not sure I understand. Earth has plenty of natural disasters. Earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, floods. We deal with them all the time. Yes, but they're small, Zexithara interrupted, her voice chiming like crystal bells. On my homeworld, earthquakes split our largest continent in half. Our mountains were built from volcanic eruptions that lasted for decades. Your disasters are like tiny ripples compared to what happens on other planets. Lisa looked confused. But our disasters can still be deadly. The earthquake that hit California last year killed thousands of people. Thousands, Vrintok said, softly. The last superstorm on our world killed 3 billion people. That's why we developed space travel. We had to get off our planet before the next disaster destroyed us completely. The silence stretched between the two ships. Alex could see Lisa processing this information, trying to understand what they were telling her. Are you saying that Earth should have disasters that could kill everyone on the planet? We're saying that every other planet does, Alex replied. These disasters are part of how worlds develop. They push species to become stronger, to develop technology, to eventually reach for the stars. Without them, most species never leave. They're home planets. But we did leave our planet, Lisa pointed out. We developed space travel. We're here talking to you. Yes. And that's what makes this so strange, Maya said. Humans achieved spaceflight without the usual driving force. Most species only develop advanced technology because they have to escape their world's disasters. What drove humanity to reach for the stars? Lisa was quiet for a long moment. Curiosity, I suppose. The desire to explore, to learn what's out there. The alien team members exchanged glances. Curiosity was a luxury most species couldn't afford when their planets were trying to kill them. Captain, Alex said carefully, we need to do more detailed scans of your planet. With your permission, we'd like to bring in additional equipment and specialists. What we're seeing here could change everything we know about how planets and civilizations develop. Lisa nodded slowly. I'll need to contact Earth's government, but I think they'll agree. Commander, can I ask you something? Of course. In all your years of exploring, have you ever found a planet like Earth before? Alex met her eyes through the communication screen. Never, Captain. In the entire history of the Galactic Council, covering thousands of worlds and millions of years, we have never found a planet like yours. He didn't add what he was thinking, that something this impossible might not be natural at all. Dr. Zara Klein had never seen so much data in her life. The climate scientist sat in her laboratory at the International Space Center, surrounded by screens showing information from dozens of different worlds. For the past 3 days, she had been working with the alien research team to compare Earth's weather patterns with those from across the galaxy. The results made her stomach turn. This can't be right, she muttered, checking the numbers for the 5th time. Every planet in the galactic database showed the same terrible pattern. Storms that covered entire continents, hurricanes that lasted for years, tornadoes that could flatten mountain ranges. Commander Rivera's voice came through the communication system. Dr. Klein, what have you found? Zara looked up at the screen where the alien commander waited for her report. Commander, I've been comparing Earth's weather systems with the data from other worlds. The differences are enormous. How enormous? The strongest hurricane in Earth's recorded history had winds of about 200 miles per hour. According to your data, the average storm on most planets has winds over 500 miles per hour. Some reach speeds of 800 miles per hour. Zexithara's crystal form appeared on the screen next to the commander. Dr. Klein, on my homeworld, we have storms that can tear apart our strongest buildings. Our cities are built underground because the surface is too dangerous during storm season. How long do your storms last? Zara asked. The shortest storms last about 6 months. The longest one in our history lasted 4 years. Zara felt dizzy. Our hurricanes last days, maybe weeks. A month-long storm would be considered a disaster. Vrintok joined the conversation. Doctor, may I show you something? The blue-skinned alien brought up a display showing his homeworld. This is Centauri Prime before the Great Burning. The image showed a green world with blue oceans and white clouds. It looked beautiful and peaceful. Now this is Centauri Prime, after the Great Burning. The second image showed a gray wasteland. The oceans were smaller and the land was covered in ash and volcanic rock. "What happened?" Zara whispered. "Our volcanoes erupted all at once. The ash blocked out the sun for 30 years. Most of our people died. The survivors had to learn to live underground and eventually develop space travel to find new worlds." "Doctor," Maya Thompson appeared on the screen. "Zara, I've been looking at the biological data. Every planet we've studied shows evidence of mass extinction events, times when 90% or more of all life forms died. Earth has had extinctions too," Zara pointed out. "The dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. Yes, but that was caused by a meteor impact. Natural disasters on other worlds are much worse. On some planets, these mass extinctions happen every few thousand years. It's like the planet regularly wipes itself clean and starts over." Zara pulled up Earth's geological record on her screen. "But Earth's extinctions are rare, and usually caused by outside forces like meteors or ice ages. The planet itself doesn't seem to be trying to kill us." Meanwhile, on the other side of the research facility, Ben Carter was having his own disturbing discoveries. The historian had been asked to look through human records for any mention of massive natural disasters. "Dr. Klein," Ben's voice came through the intercom. "I think you need to see this." Zara walked to Ben's office where he had ancient texts and historical documents spread across his desk. "I've been reading through old stories, myths, and legends from every human culture," Ben said, "and I found something strange." "What?" "Every culture has stories about great floods, earthquakes that swallow entire cities, and storms that last for years. But here's the odd part. They're always described as rare events, divine punishment, things that happened once and never again." Ben picked up a tablet showing ancient Sumerian texts. "This describes a flood that covered the entire world, but it's written like it was the only time it ever happened." He switched to another document. "This is from ancient China. It talks about earthquakes that split the earth and swallowed armies. But again, it's described as a one-time event." "Maybe these are just stories," Zara suggested. "Myths that grew larger over time." "That's what I thought too, but look at this." Ben brought up a world map on his computer. Every single ancient culture has similar stories. Floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, storms that darken the sky. But they all describe these events as unusual, not as regular occurrences. Zara stared at the map. "You're saying that every human culture remembers massive disasters, but they remember them as rare events?" "Exactly. And here's the really strange part. The geological evidence suggests these disasters should be happening regularly. Earth's volcanic systems, tectonic plates, and atmospheric conditions all indicate that we should be having planet-wide disasters every few thousand years, but we don't. No, we don't. It's like something is preventing them from happening." Back in the main laboratory, Commander Rivera was getting reports from other team members. The pattern was becoming clear and frightening. "Commander," Zexithara reported, "I've analyzed the geological data from 50 different worlds. Every single one shows evidence of regular catastrophic events. Earthquakes that reshape continents happen every 3,000 to 5,000 years on average." "And Earth?" Rivera asked. "Earth's geological structure suggests it should have the same pattern. The tectonic plates are under tremendous pressure, but the big earthquakes don't happen." Vrintok added his findings. "The atmospheric data is equally strange. Earth's weather systems show all the signs that should lead to superstorms. The temperature differences, pressure systems, and wind patterns are perfect for creating massive hurricanes, but they never reach full strength." Dr. Thompson looked up from her biological samples. "The life forms on Earth are also unusual. On other worlds, species evolve quickly because they have to adapt to regular disasters. Earth species evolve much more slowly, like they're living in a stable environment." Rivera rubbed his forehead. "So what you're all telling me is that Earth should be having regular disasters that wipe out most life, but these disasters aren't happening." "That's correct," Zara said. "Everything is set up for catastrophe, but the catastrophe never comes. There's something else, Ben added. I've been looking at human technological development. Most species develop advanced technology because they have to escape their planet's disasters. But humans developed technology slowly, out of curiosity, rather than necessity. What does that mean? It means humans had the luxury of taking their time. We didn't need to rush to develop space travel because we weren't running from anything. We explored space because we wanted to, not because we had to. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. Finally, Rivera spoke. In the entire history of the Galactic Council, covering millions of years and thousands of worlds, every planet follows the same pattern. Regular disasters force species to evolve quickly and develop technology to survive. But Earth breaks this pattern. Commander, Zara said quietly, I don't think this is natural. What do you mean? I mean something is protecting Earth. Something is preventing the natural disasters that should be happening. The question is, what? Rivera looked at the data. One more time. The evidence was overwhelming. Earth was impossible, and impossible things usually had explanations that changed everything. Dr. Rachel Stone had spent 15 years studying earthquakes, but she had never seen anything like what the alien scanners were showing her. The geophysicist stood in the deep underground laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains, watching as incredible readings poured across her screens. This is impossible, she whispered, staring at the data from Earth's tectonic plates. Commander Rivera's voice came through the communication system from the orbiting ship. Dr. Stone, what are you seeing down there? Rachel took a deep breath before answering. Commander, I'm looking at geological stress patterns that should have torn this planet apart centuries ago. She brought up a three-dimensional image of Earth's interior structure. The planet's core and mantle appeared on the screen, with bright red areas showing points of extreme pressure. These red zones indicate areas where tectonic plates are under enormous stress. When pressure builds up like this, it has to be released through earthquakes. Big earthquakes. How big? Asked Zexathera from orbit. Big enough to split continents. The San Andreas Fault in California shows pressure levels that should have caused a magnitude 12 earthquake. That would destroy everything from Mexico to Canada. When should this earthquake have happened? Commander Rivera asked, based on these readings, about 200 years ago. But it never did. Rachel moved to another display showing volcanic activity around the world. The Ring of Fire, the chain of volcanoes around the Pacific Ocean, glowed bright orange on her screen. The volcanic systems are even worse. Mount Vesuvius in Italy shows magma pressure that should have erupted with 10 times the force that destroyed Pompeii. Yellowstone National Park has enough volcanic pressure to cover half of North America in ash. Dr. Thompson's voice joined the conversation from her biological research station. Rachel, when should these eruptions have happened? Yellowstone should have erupted 50 years ago. Vesuvius should be erupting right now. In fact, most of Earth's major volcanoes should be in constant eruption based on the pressure readings I'm seeing. Commander Jake Phillips, who was monitoring the military aspects of the investigation, spoke up from his control room. Dr. Stone, we're detecting unusual energy readings from your location and dozens of others around the world. What kind of energy readings? That's the problem, we don't know. Our instruments are picking up energy signatures that don't match anything in our databases. The energy appears to be coming from deep underground and seems to pulse in rhythm with seismic activity. Rachel frowned and checked her seismic monitors. Jake, can you send me the exact locations where you're detecting this energy? Sending. No. Rachel watched as dozens of red dots appeared on her world map. Each dot marked a location where the military scanners had detected unknown energy. This can't be right, she said. These energy sources are located exactly at the points where geological pressure should be causing major disasters. She zoomed in on California, where one of the strongest energy signatures was located directly along the San Andreas Fault. Commander Rivera, I need to take some readings at these energy locations. Something is happening at the exact spots where earthquakes should be occurring. 3 hours later, Rachel was standing in a field in California with portable scanning equipment. The energy readings were stronger here, almost like standing next to a power plant. "Jake, are you seeing this?" she asked through her radio. "We're seeing it from orbit, Rachel. The energy is pulsing every few seconds, and each pulse seems to correspond with tiny vibrations in the Earth." Rachel set up her seismic equipment and watched the readings. Every few seconds, just as Jake had said, a small vibration would travel through the ground. But instead of building up pressure like normal earthquake activity, these vibrations seemed to be releasing it. "I don't believe this," she said. "Something is actively preventing earthquakes by releasing tectonic pressure in tiny amounts instead of letting it build up into major disasters." She moved to another location near Mount St. Helens, the volcano that had erupted in 1980. Her volcanic activity scanner showed the same impossible readings. The magma pressure here should be creating an eruption that would cover 3 states in ash. But something is regulating the pressure, keeping it just below the eruption threshold. Dr. Emma Walsh, the team's quantum physicist, joined the conversation from her laboratory in Switzerland. "Rachel, I've been analyzing the energy signatures Jake detected. They don't match any known natural phenomena." "What do you mean?" "The energy patterns are too regular, too precise. Natural energy sources are chaotic and random. These patterns look designed." Emma brought up her analysis on the shared communication screen. "Look at this energy wave pattern. It pulses exactly every 3.7 seconds. Natural energy doesn't work that way." "So what does that mean?" Rachel asked. "It means whatever is preventing Earth's natural disasters is artificial. Something is actively managing your planet's geological systems." Commander Rivera's voice cut through the discussion. "Dr. Walsh, are you saying that some kind of technology is controlling Earth's earthquakes and volcanoes?" "That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's technology far more advanced than anything we've ever encountered." Meanwhile, Captain Jake Phillips was getting reports from monitoring stations around the world. The pattern was becoming clear and frightening. "Commander, we're detecting the same energy signatures at every major geological stress point on Earth. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the Himalayas, the Pacific Ring of Fire, everywhere that should be experiencing major disasters." "How long has this been going on?" Rivera asked. "Based on the geological evidence, thousands of years, maybe longer." Dr. Stone packed up her equipment and headed back to the laboratory. The evidence was overwhelming, but it raised more questions than it answered. "Emma," she called to the physicist, "if this technology has been running for thousands of years, who built it?" "That's the question that scares me," Emma replied. "Either Earth has been protected by an advanced alien civilization that we've never detected, or what? Or humans built it and somehow forgot about it." Back in the underground laboratory, Rachel stared at the energy readings one more time. The patterns were beautiful in their precision, like a symphony of forces keeping Earth stable and safe. "Commander Rivera," she said, "we need to expand this investigation. If something has been actively protecting Earth for thousands of years, we need to find out what it is and how it works." "Agreed. Dr. Stone, how extensive is this protection system?" Rachel pulled up a global map showing all the energy signatures they had detected. The entire planet was covered in a network of energy sources, each one positioned to prevent natural disasters in its region. "Commander, this isn't just protection from a few disasters. This is planetary management on a scale we've never imagined. Whatever built this system has been maintaining Earth's entire geological stability for millennia. And if it ever stops working?" Rachel looked at the massive pressure readings still building under Earth's surface. "If it stops working, Commander, Earth will experience thousands of years' worth of accumulated disasters all at once. The planet would become uninhabitable within days." The silence that followed was broken only by the steady hum of the scanning equipment, monitoring the invisible forces that had been keeping humanity safe without their knowledge. Dr. Kevin Ross had been studying human brain activity for 12 years, but he had never seen anything like what was happening in his laboratory. The neuroscientist watched his computer screens in amazement, as brain scan after brain scan showed the same impossible pattern. "This can't be right," he muttered, checking his equipment for the 10th time that morning. He had been monitoring 20 volunteers from around the world, while the geological team studied Earth's energy systems. What he discovered made him question everything he knew about how human brains worked. "Commander Rivera," Kevin called through the communication system. "I need to show you something urgent." The alien commander's face appeared on the screen within seconds. "Dr. Ross, what have you found?" "Commander, I've been monitoring human brain activity during the geological surveys. Every time Dr. Stone detects one of those energy pulses that prevent earthquakes, something incredible happens in the human brain." Kevin brought up a brain scan on his screen. The image showed a human brain with areas lighting up in bright colors. "This is Sarah Miller's brain scan from this morning. Watch what happens at exactly 10:47 a.m. The brain scan showed normal activity, until suddenly, several areas lit up bright blue all at once. That spike in brain activity happened at the exact moment Dr. Stone recorded an energy pulse preventing an earthquake in California." Commander Rivera leaned forward. "That could be a coincidence." "That's what I thought too. But look at this." Kevin brought up 19 more brain scans. "This is Tom Johnson in New York, Maria Garcia in Mexico, Chen Wei in China, and 16 other people from around the world. All of their brains show the exact same spike at the exact same time." The alien commander stared at the data. All 20 people had identical brain activity at the same moment. Not just identical, Commander, perfectly synchronized. Down to the millisecond. Dr. Emma Walsh joined the conversation from her physics laboratory. "Kevin, that's impossible. Human brains don't work that way. People can't have synchronized thoughts across thousands of miles." "I know it's impossible, Emma. That's why I've been running tests for 3 days straight. But the data doesn't lie." Kevin pulled up more brain scans from the past week. "Every time there's an energy pulse that prevents a natural disaster somewhere on Earth, every human being on the planet shows the same brain activity spike." Major Susan Clark, who was overseeing the military aspects of the investigation, spoke up from her command center. "Dr. Ross, are you saying that humans are somehow connected to the system that's preventing Earth's natural disasters?" "I'm saying more than that, Major. I think humans are the system." The silence that followed was broken only by the hum of electronic equipment. "Explain," Commander Rivera said quietly. Kevin took a deep breath. "Based on my readings, every human brain is acting like a component in a massive network. When geological pressure builds up somewhere on Earth, the human collective unconscious responds by generating the energy needed to release that pressure safely." "That's impossible," Dr. Walsh protested. "Humans don't have psychic powers." "Maybe they do and just don't know it," Kevin replied. "Let me show you something else." He brought up a new set of brain scans. "I've been monitoring people while they sleep. The brain activity is even stronger during deep sleep phases." The scans showed human brains with multiple areas glowing brightly during REM sleep. It's like the human brain has a second operating system that only works when people aren't consciously thinking. A background program that's always running. Dr. Thompson joined the conversation from her biological research station. "Kevin, how long have you been detecting this activity?" "I've been scanning people for 3 days, but I also checked historical brain scan data from hospitals around the world. This pattern goes back as far as we have records, probably thousands of years." Major Clark spoke up again. "Dr. Ross, if humans are preventing natural disasters unconsciously, that has serious implications for global security." "What do you mean?" "I mean, if other civilizations discover that humans have planetary-scale psychic abilities, they might see us as a threat." Commander Rivera nodded grimly. "The Major is right. No species in galactic history has demonstrated the ability to control natural forces on a planetary scale." Captain Ryan Brooks, who was monitoring space around Earth, added his findings. "Commander, I've been checking for the same energy signatures beyond Earth's atmosphere. I found something disturbing." "What did you find, Captain?" "The moon's orbit should have decayed significantly over the past million years, but it's perfectly stable. The energy signatures we're detecting on Earth extend all the way to the moon." "Are you saying humans are also controlling the moon's orbit?" "That's exactly what I'm saying. And there's more. I've detected course corrections in several asteroids that were on collision paths with Earth over the past 1,000 years. Something has been subtly redirecting dangerous objects away from our planet." Dr. Ross pulled up his most recent brain scans. "Captain Brooks, can you tell me exactly when those asteroid course corrections happened?" "Sending you the data now." Kevin compared the asteroid data with his brain scan records. Commander, every time an asteroid was redirected away from Earth, humans showed massive brain activity spikes. The entire species was unconsciously working together to protect the planet. Dr. Walsh ran calculations on her computer. The amount of energy required to move asteroids and stabilize the moon's orbit is enormous. If humans are really doing this unconsciously, their psychic potential is incredible. How incredible? Major Clark asked. Incredible enough to reshape the galaxy if they ever learned to use it consciously. Commander Rivera stood quietly for a long moment, processing all the information. Finally, he spoke. Dr. Ross, you're telling me that every human being is part of a planetary defense system that operates at the subconscious level. Yes, Commander. Humans aren't just living on Earth. They're integrated with it. Every person is like a living sensor and control unit in a planet-wide network. And this network has been protecting Earth for thousands of years without humans knowing about it. That's correct. The human species has been unconsciously managing their planet's entire geological and astronomical environment. Major Clark leaned forward. Commander, what happens if humans become consciously aware of these abilities? That's the question that terrifies me, Commander Rivera replied. A species that can unconsciously control planets and move asteroids might be capable of much more if they put their minds to it deliberately. Dr. Ross looked at his brain scan data one more time. There's something else, Commander. The brain activity patterns I'm seeing suggest this isn't just a recent development. This appears to be an evolved trait that's been developing in humans for hundreds of thousands of years. Evolution doesn't work that fast, Dr. Thompson pointed out. No, it doesn't. Unless humans aren't originally from Earth. The implications of that statement hung in the air like a heavy cloud. If humans weren't native to Earth, then their planetary management abilities might have developed somewhere else. And if they had come from another world, what had happened to that world? Commander Rivera made a decision that would change everything. Dr. Ross, I want you to try something. I want you to see if you can create a device that allows humans to consciously interface with this planetary network. Commander, that could be extremely dangerous. Dr. Ross, we need to know the truth. And I think the only way to find it is to wake up the human collective consciousness and ask it directly. Dr. Amy Foster had spent 2 weeks building the most dangerous device in human history. The neural interface sat on her laboratory table, looking like a simple metal headband with thin wires connecting it to a massive computer system. But this device could change everything humanity knew about itself. Are you sure about this, Dr. Foster? Commander Rivera asked through the communication screen. The alien commander looked worried, and Amy understood why. They were about to wake up abilities that had been sleeping in human minds for thousands of years. As sure as I can be, Commander. The interface should allow a human to consciously connect with Earth's planetary management network. Greg Martinez, the volunteer pilot who had agreed to test the device, sat nervously in the chair next to the interface. He was a calm man who had flown dangerous missions in space, but even he looked scared. What exactly will happen when I put this on? Greg asked. Honestly, we don't know, Amy admitted. Based on Dr. Ross's brain scans, your mind will connect with the same network that's been unconsciously protecting Earth. But this will be the first time a human has done it while awake. Major Clark spoke from her security station. We have medical teams standing by and emergency systems ready. If anything goes wrong, we can disconnect you immediately. Greg nodded and picked up the interface headband. Let's find out what humanity really is. He placed the device on his head and Amy activated the connection. For a moment, nothing happened. Then Greg's eyes went wide and his body went completely still. Greg, can you hear me? Amy asked. I can hear you, Greg said, but his voice sounded different, older somehow. But I can hear so much more. What are you hearing? Everything, the whole planet. I can feel every earthquake that wants to happen, every volcano that wants to erupt, every storm that wants to form, and I can feel millions of minds working together to stop them. Dr. Ross monitored Greg's brain activity from his station. His neural activity is off the charts. Areas of his brain that we've never seen active before are lighting up like fireworks. Greg, Can you tell us about the network you're connected to? Greg was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was filled with wonder and sadness. We weren't always here. Humanity didn't start on Earth. Commander Rivera leaned forward. Where did humans come from? A world called Kareth, in the Vega system. It was beautiful once. Green oceans, silver cities, floating gardens in the sky. Our people lived there for millions of years. What happened to Kareth? The same thing that happens to every world eventually. The planet started dying. Earthquakes that split continents. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun. Storms that lasted for decades. Our civilization was going to be destroyed. Dr. Thompson joined the conversation. So humans developed space travel to escape? No. We developed something much more difficult. We learned to become one with our planet. Greg's voice became stronger, more confident. Our scientists discovered that consciousness itself is a form of energy. By linking our minds together, we could influence the physical forces that were destroying our world. You learned to control natural disasters with your thoughts? Not control. Partnership. We became part of Kareth's natural systems. Every human mind became a living component in a planetary management network. Amy watched the readings on her instruments. The energy patterns Greg was generating were identical to the ones they had detected all over Earth. Greg, if your people saved Kareth, why did you come to Earth? Because saving a world is not the same as healing it. We could prevent the disasters, but the damage was already done. Kareth was dying slowly instead of quickly. So you left your homeworld? A group of us did. We came to Earth when it was young and unstable. We integrated ourselves into this planet's systems the same way we had done on Kareth. But humans on Earth don't remember any of this. We chose to forget. The knowledge of what we lost, what we had to leave behind, was too painful. Each generation remembered less until the memories became myths and legends. Colonel Steve Wilson, who had been listening from his command post, spoke up. Greg, are you saying that every human being carries the genetic memory of an alien refugee? Not alien, human. We've always been human. Earth is our adopted home, but we've been here so long that we've made it truly ours. Dr. Foster checked her instruments again. Greg, the network you're connected to, how extensive is it? It covers everything. Not just Earth's geology and weather, but the moon's orbit, the asteroid belt, even the solar wind patterns that could damage the planet. For hundreds of thousands of years, humanity has been unconsciously maintaining this entire region of space. Commander, Rivera asked the question they were all thinking. Greg, what would happen if humanity became consciously aware of these abilities? That's what we're finding out right now. By waking up the network, we're giving humanity a choice. What kind of choice? We can continue as we have been, unconsciously protecting Earth while pretending we're just another species struggling to survive. Or we can accept our true nature and help other worlds the way we've helped Earth. Major Clark leaned forward. You're talking about using human abilities to prevent natural disasters on other planets? Every world in the galaxy suffers from the same problems that once threatened Kareth and now threaten Earth. But with conscious control of our abilities, humans could extend their protection to other worlds. That would make humanity the most powerful species in the galaxy, Colonel Wilson pointed out. Not powerful. Necessary. The galaxy is full of worlds dying from natural disasters, civilizations struggling to survive earthquakes and storms and volcanic winters. Humanity has the solution. Dr. Foster watched as more areas of Greg's brain continued to activate. Greg, are you still in control of your own thoughts? I'm more in control than I've ever been. For the first time in my life, I can feel what I really am, what we all are. And what is that? Gardeners. Humanity's purpose isn't to conquer worlds or build empires. We're meant to heal planets and protect life. Commander Rivera made notes on his datapad. Greg, if humanity chooses to embrace these abilities, what happens next? We start small. We teach other humans how to use the interface. We expand the network beyond Earth to other worlds that need protection. We become what we were always meant to be. And if humanity chooses to remain unconscious of their abilities, Then Earth stays protected, but the rest of the galaxy continues to suffer. Billions of people on thousands of worlds will continue to die from disasters that humanity could prevent. Amy looked at the readings one more time. Everything was stable, but she could see that the interface was changing Greg in fundamental ways. Greg, we're going to disconnect you now. Are you ready? I'm ready. But Dr. Foster, you need to know something. Now that the network has been awakened, it can't be put back to sleep. Other humans will start having dreams, memories, feelings. They don't understand. Is that dangerous? No, it's evolution. Humanity is remembering what it really is. Amy deactivated the interface and Greg slumped forward, breathing heavily. When he looked up, his eyes were different, wiser. How do you feel? Amy asked. Like I finally understand why I always felt like I was supposed to be protecting something. Greg smiled. And I know what we have to do next. Commander Rivera appeared on the screen. Greg, what do we have to do? We have to give humanity a choice. Do they want to remain unconscious gardeners of one world, or conscious protectors of the galaxy? And how do we give them that choice? Greg stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the Earth below. We tell them the truth, all of it, and then we let them decide what kind of species they want to be. The future of the galaxy now rested in the hands of a species that had spent hundreds of thousands of years unconsciously preventing the very disasters that had driven every other civilization to the stars.